One Zambia, One Nation, to present the main news at 19 hours on ZNBC TV. I'm Patricia Ellis. A look at the top stories in the news. President Edgar Lungu has instructed the Zambia Police Service to ensure there is no violence in Katuba. Political parties contesting the Katuba parliamentary by-election have committed to uphold peace ahead of the election tomorrow. Some traditional leaders in southern province have condemned the acts of vandalism on the 63-kilometer Dundumwezi power line. And also coming up in the news, Zambian sprinter Sydney Siame has minted a gold medal in the 400 meters category at the Antwerp Invitational Gala in Belgium. Doing sign language is Johannes Getana. Thank you so much for joining us. President Edgar Lungu has instructed the Zambia Police Service to ensure there is no violence in Katuba. The head of state says he has information that a named political party has imported cadres to cause violence in Katuba. President Lungu says the police should not allow what happened in Sesheke to take place in Katuba. He says the police should deal with perpetrators of violence, whether they come from PF or UPND. President Lungu said this when he addressed a political rally at St. Peter's grounds in Katuba. The president reaffirmed his commitment to taking development to all parts of the country.
Fortunately, we will be able to connect with the people of Katuba and look at your areas of need and bring support there. This is because this man lives with you, he knows your needs, and he's amongst you. So you have access to State House and the government, and he will tell us what you need. This man will not be punished for coming to me at all. But if you make the mistake of choosing somebody from the opposition, he will be punished for coming to ask for development from us. So I'm pleading, I'm asking you, please help me to bring development to you so that we can all be living in a comfortable, developing nation, Zambia. I will work under my supervision when you give him the job. As a supervisor, I will make sure he delivers because my judgment will be based on what he delivers between now and 2021 when I come again looking for our new mandate from the people of Zambia.
Meanwhile, President Lungu has called for coexistence between the PF and the opposition. President Lungu says there is no reason for grassroots supporters to fight with their leaders who do not fight each other when they meet. He was speaking in Katuba when drumming up support for PF candidate Zax Mwachilele. Speaking at the same event, PF Secretary General Davis Mwila urged the people of Katuba to vote wisely. And Kawe Central Member of Parliament Tutwa Nguluve said Katuba constituency will change if people vote for the PF candidate.
We have adopted candidates from outside Katuba. So us, as PF, we have an advantage because we have a local resident. Mwachilele, once he's elected tomorrow, he will bring development because he's coming from a political party which is in government. Opposition cannot bring development. You've been voting for the opposition. What have they brought? Nothing. Tomorrow we'll be voting. I'm asking you, my brothers and sisters, that let's go and vote for Headman Mwachilele, who is on PF ticket.
The people of Katuba will tomorrow go to the polls to replace late Member of Parliament Patricia Mwashingwele. Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of operations, Boni Kapeso, says the police command has deployed enough officers to man the Katuba parliamentary by-election. Speaking shortly after meeting political party leaders in Katuba, Mr. Kapeso said the officers deployed have been instructed to work with all the political parties in maintaining peace and order. Patrick Mlenga reports.
With the countdown to the Katuba by-election finally on, the Zambia Police Service is not leaving anything to chance where preserving peace and order is concerned. The Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of operations, Boni Kapeso, has checked on the situation in the area and engaged political parties participating on the need to maintain peace. And after a meeting with political party leaders at Mwanjuni Community Police Post, Mr. Kapeso said the presence of the police is an assurance to the people of Katuba that violence will not be condoned.
And we don't want to get things for granted. We decided to come to the ground. And the best way is to ensure the Zambian people that the police officers are there for them. No matter in which shape they look at them, the core values are to ensure that their lives and their properties are protected.
And Central Province PF Chairman Remember Mtale said political party leaders should emulate President Edgar Lungu in preaching peace during and after elections.
In the PF, would also want to highlight that the President has always been quoted and advising us that we don't need violence.
UPND campaign manager for Katuba, Cornelius Mwetwa, said political parties participating in Katuba by-election have shown high levels of maturity in the campaigns.
We are committed to delivering a peaceful election together with our colleagues, the Patriotic Front. What is happening here is democracy, and there cannot be democracy without competition. But competition does not mean violence.
The Katuba parliamentary seat fell vacant following the death of Patricia Mwashingwele, who was UPND Member of Parliament. Patrick Mlenga, ZNBC News, Katuba.
UPND Deputy Spokesperson Cornelius Mwetwa says his party will retain the Katuba parliamentary seat. Mr. Mwetwa says this is because people of Katuba have confidence in the UPND and its leadership. He says the seat was previously held by the UPND and the people of Katuba are ready to honor the late Member of Parliament by voting for the opposition party. Mr. Mwetwa was speaking to ZNBC News in a telephone interview. And efforts to get the UPPZ President, Charles Chanda, proved futile as his phone was not reachable by broadcast time. UPND South Africa 2021 chapter chairperson Biswell Mtale has resigned from the party and joined the ruling Patriotic Front PF. Mr. Mtale says his resignation has been well thought out as he wants to contribute to the development of Zambia. Addressing the media in Lusaka today, Mr. Mtale, a Zambian businessman based in South Africa, said he feels he can work better by joining forces with people who are already on the ground. And PF Media Director Sande Chanda said the ruling party has welcomed Mr. Mtale and that PF Secretary General Davis Mwila will meet him as soon as he is done with his programs in Katuba constituency.
And I've decided to join PF. If there are any challenges in PF or any problem that the PF is experiencing, I am ready to work willingly. I've gone there myself. I've got a self-conviction that I can work very well in PF and I can save the people of Zambia without a doubt. There are already people on the ground in PF that are working. I will join them and we'll run together. I will be your servant under His Excellency President Edgar Lungu in Patriotic Front.
That is your family, and the Secretary General is going to meet you once he's done with his program in Katuba, and the leadership of the party is aware of this decision that you have made. So you're very much welcome.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
But UPND Secretary General Stephen Katuka said he has not received a resignation letter from Mr. Mtale. Mr. Katuka has told ZNBC News that he has been trying to get a hold of Mr. Mtale since morning, but noted that his efforts have been in vain. Energy Minister Matthew Nkua has assured the people of Dundumwezi that government will not relent in taking development to the area. Mr. Nkua says government will not be deterred by people who vandalized the power pole. Speaking at a media briefing in Lusaka today, Mr. Nkua disclosed that conclusive investigations have shown that the cutting down of the pole in Chief Mapanza's area was an act of sabotage.
The suspect did not derive any economic gain from the action. It must be distinguished that in a case of vandalism, there is a clear motive of deriving economic gain from the action. The government of the Republic of Zambia, led by His Excellency Mr. Edgar Chagwarungu, is committed to taking development to all parts of the country. The President is therefore concerned when such acts of sabotage occur, especially that they are coming at a great cost of the taxpayer. Government shall not relent in taking corrective measures wherever and whenever and wherever such vices occur.
Government is implementing the Dundumwezi grid extension project at a cost of 7.2 million kwacha on a stretch of about 63 kilometers. And some traditional leaders in Southern Province have condemned the acts of vandalism on the 63-kilometer Dundumwezi power line being installed by the Rural Electrification Authority, REA. Chiefs Macha and Chikanta have both described the acts of vandalism as criminal. Zanis has details.
Lack of access to electricity has remained a daunting challenge to socio-economic development in outlying areas. No wonder government, through the Rural Electrification Authority REA, is constructing a 63-kilometer power line to provide electricity to 3 chiefdoms in Southern Province. But some unscrupulous individuals have started vandalizing this infrastructure, a situation that has saddened traditional leaders in the 2 districts of Kalomo and Choma.
He is now fighting the Zambians and the government at large. We don't condone that.
What the government is bringing here is our property. The community at large in these 3 chiefdoms, Mapanza, Macha and Chikanta, where the line is cutting through, to take care and protect that investment.
Southern Province Minister Edfai Hamukale, who inspected the new power grid being installed at great cost, is disappointed with such acts of vandalism.
They should guard all infrastructure that is given to them jealously because they are the beneficiaries. A facility like this one, where we brought electricity as government, should be seen as a positive step in achieving some of the development goals that we have set.
Chief Chikanda is extremely grateful to government for the massive developments his chiefdom is receiving.
The government is delivering, and has delivered in Dundumwezi. The road project has been delivered. The mobile phone towers, at least we have now 6. And the electricity is coming, and it could be commissioned by the first week of October.
Chumunya Nalumpa, Zanis, in Southern Province.
President Edgar Lungu says the late former president of Tunisia, Beji Said Essebsi, will be remembered for his contribution to the promotion of democracy and advancement of peace. In his message of condolences to Tunisia's Speaker of Parliament, Mohamed Ennassir, President Lungu said the late president will also be remembered as the first democratically elected president of Tunisia and for being a seasoned politician who served in various portfolios. President Lungu said this in a message released to ZNBC News in Lusaka today by his Special Assistant for Press and Public Relations, Isaac Chipampe. Mr. Essebsi, who passed away on July 25, 2019 at the age of 92, was Tunisia's first democratically elected leader and was one of the world's oldest leaders. After being drafted in as Prime Minister in 2011, after long-time ruler Zine El Abidine Ben Ali was toppled, Mr. Essebsi was elected president 3 years later, becoming the country's first directly elected head of state after its Arab Spring uprising. You're watching the main news on ZNBC TV. Just now, we go for a commercial break, but do stay tuned as we have more news still to come. We'll come back. We continue with the news. Dozens of miners, their wives and community members from Nampundwe, Chingola and Chilabombwe have held a peaceful protest against Vedanta's continued stay in the country. The placard carrying protesters marched for a kilometre in Kabundi South area of Chingola to the Nchanga Parliamentary Office, where they presented their concerns to Area Member of Parliament Charlie Chilombo. Paul Shalala reports.
They marched to have their voices heard. Miners, wives of miners and community members from Nampundwe, Chingola and Chirilabombwe, where Konkola Copper Mines' operations, have marched in a peaceful protest against its parent company, Vedanta Resources. The protesters marched along Central Street in Kabundi South area of Chingola.
Issues ya KCM yapwila kumugodi wa KCM ni Chingola na Chirilabombwe abantu ifani fwe bantu fwe chula.
So we are saying no to Vendetta, no coming back. We don't want you, we've already divorced. No coming back, we've divorced. So enough is enough.
I appeal to His Excellency Edgar Chagwalungu and the Minister of Mines that never should you entertain this Vedanta.
At the end of the march, the protesters presented their concerns to Nchanga Member of Parliament Charlie Chilombo.
Uteko wesu, uteko wachindika mafunde, uteko wachindika makoti. Ila shinga ya makoti, lekeni lipule makoti, lero liangu fianyeko. Lero liangu fianyeko. So tuchindike amakoti.
KCM is the largest employer in Chingola and Chirilabombwe, where it runs mines. In May this year, government placed KCM on liquidation and the process is currently in court. Paul Sharala, ZNBC News in Chingola.
Government has directed mining companies in the country to safeguard areas under their mining licenses against all forms of illegalities, including unauthorized mining. Mines Minister Richard Musukwa says under the current Mines Act, the license holder is responsible for all activities and any eventuality on the site will solely be on the mining company. Mr. Musukwa was speaking during the tour of the Mopani Copper Mines sinkhole, which is currently being backfilled near Kitwe's Chamboli area. Here's a report.
Continues. Several mining experts have raised concern over the dangers of the Mopani Copper Mine sinkhole. And the only option was to bury it to safeguard the over 1,000 lives of the illegal small-scale miners that have been scavenging for minerals here. And today, the Minister of Mines was at Mopani Copper Mines for a briefing on the matter.
So that thing anytime can actually just collapse. You can lose even about 1,000 people at the same time. And those bodies will not even be recovered. So it's actually quite dangerous. That's why, in conjunction with it, we agreed to move in that way.
Later, the minister visited the sinkhole and interacted with the small-scale miners.
To be very clear that we will not allow any form of illegality, including invading on license holders. Where license holders have a mandate within their jurisdiction, we will not encourage anyone, even at the behest of so-called empowerment, we will not allow anyone to go in the license tenement of our people. But what we are saying, what is wrong in the Zambians, like our youths who have been working in here, to be transformed from the so-called jelabos into being legalized license holders who are able to participate in the equation of the mining operation of our country?
But the area member of parliament has a different view on the matter.
So it should be a win-win situation. So Mopani and ourselves, we should sit down. Then we look at how best we can engage our people there. They should have been engaged so that they benefit as a community. Even if this contract was given to them, even to buy, they'll benefit. It will be startup capitals for even those women who are selling there.
Mopani Copper Mines last week started the process of backfilling the sinkhole. The process is expected to last at least 3 months. Wamunjira Chilinda, ZNBC News in Kitwe.
We go for another commercial break, and coming up after the break, we have construction news. Stay tuned. And now the segment in detail. The newly constructed bulk water tank in Lusaka's Charleston area will not be commissioned until the works on the supply line from the Ayolanda Kafue bulk water treatment plant are completed. Water Development Permanent Secretary Ed Chomba has confirmed the development to ZNBC News. Bishop Chomba said there are also outstanding substation works on the Kafue water supply line, which are expected to start next month. Details in this report.
It should have been commissioned early this year, but the commissioning has been delayed due to ongoing works at the Kafue bulk water supply project. According to the Ministry of Water Development, the Charleston tank will only be commissioned once the substations are constructed.
We don't have water in Lusaka. All the water we use in Lusaka, we pull it from Kafue, 45 kilometers into Lusaka. Now, that part I've talked about of $150 million, where the contractor is China Civil, is completed. Now, we cannot operationalize that until we put up the substations. And it is now the substations that we will start to work on in the next month or so. So that in Kafue, at Ayolanda, we will be able to boost the water in order for water to come through.
And Dr. Ed Chomba is however aware of vandals. Therefore, measures have been put in place to ensure the infrastructure is safeguarded.
Now you can imagine pulling the water from Kafue into Lusaka, putting the pipe they call the rising main, without supplying water to people in Kafue and in Chilanga, they may sabotage the pipe. So now we are including all those compounds that we have talked about, Chilanga, Kafue, and coming along even in Chawama and this way, that people will be able to have clean and safe water.
About $150 million has been spent on the construction of the tank. For Chimalata, ZNBC News in Lusaka.
In construction news, thank you for watching. We continue with the main news. Religious Affairs Minister Godfrida Sumaili has called on church mother bodies to help government protect citizens from false prophets and strange spiritual teachings. Reverend Sumaili says many people have been harmed by fake prophets. She says the church needs to bring sanity to the body of Christ by regulating itself using godly principles. Reverend Sumaili was speaking during a meeting with church mother bodies and senior members of the clergy.
Since the declaration of Zambia as a Christian nation in 1991, the country has experienced growth in the number and size of churches. This growth has contributed to the spread of Christianity across the length and breadth of our country. The spread and growth of churches has also seen the increase in liberal teaching of the Word of God and in strange and biblical practices. We need to protect the citizens from strange teachings and harmful practices.
Transport and Communications Minister Mutotwe Kafwaya has directed the Road Transport and Safety Agency, RATSA, to come up with measures that will ensure effective service delivery. Mr. Kafwaya says the long queues at various RATSA centres should be addressed through deploying more officers to attend to the public. He was speaking when he made an impromptu visit at RATSA Mimosa grounds. Austin Mwale reports.
He is on duty to inspect what exactly happens at the Road Transport and Safety Agency, Lusaka's Mimosa Vehicle Inspection Facility. Transport and Communications Minister Mutotwe Kafwaya made an impromptu visit to confirm reports of understaffing. The minister found the situation disappointing.
Okay, how many are you here? You're on this section. How many are you? I'm alone. You are alone?
At the
Every
moment.
day?
No.
Okay, how many are you supposed to be? For
We
this
are
number
supposed
of
to be
vehicles?
2.
Someone doing the work there? Just one person?
Actually 2 officers. We had pressure at build the other side for fitness. Okay. So what I did is there were 2 officers when we started because there was no pressure when we started. So I had to reassign another officer for fitness.
ZNBC interviewed some motorists who have expressed concern over the hiccups they have been facing.
For the manager to sign, I mean, it just takes the whole day for you to just get one identity.
As we are doing new registrations, you submit the papers by Interpol. Once you receive the volume number from Lumbarea, it takes again 2 days for you to be given the white book.
The minister also interacted with RATSA management.
If they come on board to do vehicle inspections and we do the regulation aspect, it's the same concept that we also want to do for the councils, where we want to take the services to the various districts so that we see how we can ride on the capacity of the councils to help us do, for instance, things like road tax.
It is hoped that after the minister's visit, the issue of manpower here will be a thing of the past and that people will be served immediately. Austin Mwale, ZNBC News, Lusaka.
We go for our final commercial break, and after that we have sports news.
It's now time for sports. My name is Robert Mwanza. In our segment tonight, MTN First Division Super League side Lusaka Dynamos are the champions of the Jones Chilengi Sports Initiative Inaugural Charity Shield. More after this. And now the details. Zambian sprinter Sidin Siame has minted a gold medal, while his compatriot Daniel Mbewe has settled for a bronze medal in the 400 meters category at the Antwerp Invitational Gala in Belgium. Siame, who is so far the only Zambian athlete to have qualified for the 2020 Tokyo Olympic Games, clocked 46.01 seconds. And Mbewe, who was also competing in the same event, settled for a bronze medal after clocking 46.99 seconds. Siame was followed by Akim Selemani from Djibouti, who clocked 46.89 seconds to take a silver medal. The Tokyo 2020 bound athlete also managed to mint a silver medal in the 200 meters category at the same event. Siame came second in the 200 meters to Femi Okomi of Qatar, who clocked 20.51 seconds. He told ZNBC Sports in an interview from Belgium that the results are a morale booster ahead of the All Africa Games to be held in Morocco from August 19th to 31st, 2019. And Zambia Amateur Athletic Association ZAN national team coach Douglas Kalembo said he is pleased with the performance of the two Zambian athletes in Belgium. And the first MTN Super League division side, the Lusaka Dynamos, are the champions of the Jones Chilengi Sports Initiative Inaugural Charity Shield. Lusaka Dynamos were crowned champions after they beat first Division 1 side FC Muza 1-0 in the final played in Lusaka. More in the following report.
Cries to honor fallen sports heroes have not fallen on deaf ears. The family of late national football team player Jones Chilengi is taking the lead. Since Thursday last week, teams from super and lower divisions have competed for honors in the inaugural Jones Chilengi Sports Initiative Charity Shield. And it was the elite Lusaka Dynamos that emerged champions after defeating FC Muza 1-0 in the final on Sunday.
I think for me it was better because we have pushed 5 players from the youth, and the way you have seen here, I think they can perform on the senior team because we just wanted to test them through this tournament.
No, for us it was building for the team for the coming season. I think a lot of positives that we have seen because we've lost some players that have gone that we were with last season.
FC Muza President Keith Mwemba has welcomed the initiative and called for more support towards the organizers.
I think this is a very good initiative. Jones Chilengi did a lot for this country football-wise. So we would like to thank the organizers that this must continue. Even next season, I think we need to have the same tournament.
The organizing committee is overwhelmed by the response from participants and the fans that turned out.
From this tournament,
we're going out to do training programs from the identified players who are failing to transition. So the teams that are participating will then come back to us and say maybe one or two players are having difficulty transitioning. Then those are the ones who are going to come up, whatever possible we got from the tournament, we try now to train them.
Other clubs that participated in the tournament were NAPSA Stars and Zambia Police-sponsored outfit Police College Football Clubs. Chikom Koka, ZNBC Sports, Lusaka.
Well, thank you for that report, Chikom Koka. And from the sports desk, this is what we had. My name is Robert Mwanza. On behalf of everyone, good night.
That brings us to the end of the news. Thank you so much for watching. And remember to love, be loyal, and be devoted to our country. I'm Patricia Ellis. Bye-bye.